what motivated you to open your life up again to this kind of scrutiny?
Um, I think you only get one chance to have a 40th anniversary. And while I was able to look back, even during the process, I gave Gotham the controls. So I was only ever focused in the present and the future. Um, but I did think it was worthy of a look back at 4 decades of the band. While I was both going through what is now known as my vocal surgery and writing this new record. But the 40th anniversary is worthy of a moment in time to stand around with your mates and say, look what we've done.
Kidding. No. Now you've chosen to do a really honest look. That's another part. I mean, there's a million ways to do what you did. You didn't seem to run away from anything. How important was that to you, and why did you choose that?
We're only here to tell the truth, Mike. I didn't need a puff piece. It's just that would not have been worthy of the 4 decades of the band's um, roller coaster ride. And I think it deserved to have the truth told by each of the individuals as they saw it, and not just my perspective, and not with a happy end. Just an open and honest conversation with those people who've been on this journey with us.
That really came through, and it makes it much more meaningful, the document you've created. One thing your story is so, well, it seems so unique in the sense that everyone has their fantasy. You might have had one yourself at some point about what a rock and roll life was going to be. And what emerges in the film is quite different. It wasn't just like you magically got discovered and handed the keys to your career over to some agent and over to some manager or some label, but you've been engaged the whole way. Um, how important was it for you to tell that story? I mean, that's really not what people think of how it's done in a sense.
Everybody's story is unique to them. This was the truth, the whole truth. Nobody's ever going to dispel a sentence of what's on these 4 episodes. But that's our story and my story. And fortunately for me and for us, I thought differently. So, some of these choices worked. But even the failures are documented so that if it's anything, I wouldn't mind that a next generation boy or girl who chooses to get into this business sees what it takes. It's not about singing shows on television. It's about writing a song, and not only writing the song, but writing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, that the work ethic. I mean, what's interesting is it. I mean, I know some of your imagery you draw from the working class and celebrating working class life, but you are a worker in this, in a sense. Like you don't run away from that. In fact, you seem to, you take an effort to celebrate that work ethic, and I think it was important that that be demonstrated. Where did that come from? I mean, like when you're hustling at the power plant and all that stuff. I mean, you were working hard. Like that's not what people think of as a teenage kid.
I had single-minded focus as a kid, and I found that to be fun. I didn't think of it as work. I found it to be incredibly fun and exciting, and it gave me reason to want to get up and um, then I would call it seizing the day. Um, that I would not have had it any other way. But that was to me fun. And then maybe a lot of it had to do with where we were brought up, how we were brought up, at a time that we were brought up, that those impossibilities seemed possible.
And what made it like? What about it was fun? Because I mean, you were working your ass off.
Part of it was
Pardon
youth.
me?
A lot of it was truly youth. The
Hmm.
dream age in New Jersey in 1979, 80, 81, 82, it was still 18 years old. So you could be 16 and slip into a bar and cut your teeth performing in front of a real crowd that wasn't a high school dance. So you're thrust into the major leagues, like it or not, by playing in these bars because these were recording acts that you were opening for or witnessing, or you were there with some of the now known greatest songwriters in rock and roll. You were in the company of greatness. So I had no responsibilities yet. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a career path chosen. So I did then have the support of my mom and dad, which I think was good. You know, their attitude was, if you're going to be in a bar, at least we know where you are. And without any of that looming responsibility that 5 years later, or a drinking age difference of 21, at 16, I couldn't have snuck in those bars.
Right.
You know, by the time I was 18, I might have had to say, is higher education the calling, or is a trade the calling, or is there the need to pay the bills? You know, when you're 16, I was fortunate I could still live at home.
Amazing. I didn't think of it that way. Now, when you say it was fun, was it fun because you felt, okay, I'm taking steps to take control of my destiny, basically?
Definitely. Even when I joined an original band where it wasn't mine, but I knew that the only way to achieve any kind of legitimate success was by performing your own material. I was learning every day. In essence, that was higher education. And that band was short-lived, but that's okay. It was a step down the road in the right direction. And that's when I learned, okay, I got to form my own bands. I have to learn how to write songs better. I have to go out there and obviously become a better and better singer and a performer. So that was fun. It really was fun. And then your early records, going on the road, you know, just seeing the world for the first time. All of those experiences are fantasies for most kids.
And you were living them. Now, I would like the film you've created, the story you're telling, it's almost a handbook for, you were mentioning this earlier, for younger musicians. Like I would sit them down and tell them to watch your series just for that, because it's like, because you make it clear that you've got to take steps, you've got to take these actions, and you can have the power. Like, I mean, ultimately, much like your music, I mean, I'm not pursuing a career in rock, but I found this so inspiring. Like, it kind of, because you're putting the tools out there and you're celebrating the hard work, and we all have hard work available to us on a certain level if we're prepared to do it. So were you hoping to achieve that with film? Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Like I say, I was only ever trying to tell the truth.
Right.
So whether or not, you know, now people are deeming, oh, wow, we had no idea how hard you worked. But the rap on me at the record company from the time I was signed, it's the same record deal 40 years later, is that they were always tell young bands, you should study what this guy does. Nobody works harder. Nobody works harder. Nobody works harder. It was just what I did. So, you know, if band members along the way didn't make it for the 40 years, there's no animos, but not everybody's meant to keep up. You know, it's not a life sentence. I keep going. Whether or not you're along with me on the journey is up to the individual. Some did, some couldn't. But that's okay. Everybody was an integral part of the whole.
When you talk, that makes so much sense. Now, when you're talking about, obviously you've got a new record coming. You tease us at the end because you said, with the title, you said that was sort of your sign off term, but that you're not signing off. You've got the new album coming. We're hoping you're touring. Hopefully your health is all moving along. I guess it's an obvious question. You sort of answered the film, but I'm going to ask it again anyway. It was like, what does keep you going? You know, some people want to retire. They want to do this. You're doing this, and it's clear that it has meaning to you still.
Yeah, writing a song for me, here's the greatest pleasure I get in the process. And then the desire to record it to see if what is in the notebook is legit, and then ultimately to share it with an audience. I never intended to have a problem, let alone a big surgery like this. So now it's that phrase, let go and let God. It's just out of my hands. Given the opportunity, I'd like to tour, but unlike a lot of journeymen that I've met over the years, it's not my motivating factor. I really don't live for the applause. I don't live for room service and a suitcase and a hotel room. I dread that idea. But given the opportunity to go out there and support the new album, I'd like to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the best, Jon. Thank you for everything you've done. And Gotham, both of you, congratulations. This is great. And I'm glad you're getting this message out to so many people. All the best.
Hi, Michael. Thank